This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to open the meeting of June 30th. Roll call of council. Commissioner Sully. Here. Commissioner Way.
Here.
Meehan.
Here.
Abernathy.
Here.
And Hardy.
Here.
All right. If we could all stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. This is public comment on non-agenda items. Those items not on our current agenda. And the council may not respond to those items, just as a heads up, since it's not publicly noticed.
I'm just curious, is this meeting really necessary for these three items? Couldn't it have waited for the regular meeting?
All right, second call for public comment on non-agenda items. Last call. All right, moving on. For our first and second scheduled matters, both of those groups called after the fact and said, we're not ready after all. So originally this was the Lions Club thought they had a really great deal on the perfect building, the building of their dreams. And they only had until the 3rd to decide. So they wanted it to come before the council. And then as a group later, they chose not to present. So
This building was for?
the storage down at the Lions on the back, on the north side of that first field, where the green Connex container currently is.
Yes.
And the council before has also reviewed baseball. They wanted a storage shed and the out thing. So now they're looking at combining all together. So they're trying to get all the groups together to find one building that's going to fit the needs of all of them together long term, instead of a modge podge of sheds. So, and skate park, they are finally getting some actual engineering plans, but the engineer's available next month. So that's where that's at. But Public Works, we don't have to make a decision tonight, but at least kind of getting through wages and where you guys want to be, because that's my major budget linchpin. So I gave you the resolution from last year on what we did. So everybody knows national COLA this year is 2.5. The state adopted 2.5 or $1, whichever is greater. I couldn't find any for the county numbers, so that's what I know there. So I need to know kind of the guidance of increase and then what we feel these numbers need to kind of be started at. We started with Public Works as kind of our bane of needing to get that settled so that we can get some advertising for that position.
Well, my first question is deputy clerk is showing a set starting wage of 17 an hour. What is the wage range for that position?
17 an hour with a $1 an hour raise after a year.
17, 18.
Was it a year or?
Depending on the timing in the next fiscal year.
Yeah,
So these are last year's wages, right?
right, that we adopted.
Okay, yeah.
So Brenna has got her year in, so she will be at 18. And then whatever increase.
Okay, do we decide if it's 12 months, after 12 months or after the fiscal year end? Which one is it?
Or do you do at the end of a probation period?
Right. What's your typical probation period?
A year.
A year.
Sorry.
No, that's normal in Montana, so that's.
Jim?
Just one thing, in any wage and personnel that ever worked on, after someone has completed a year, it's extremely unusual that they just receive that $1 raise. I think that everything that I've built here for the wage and personnel for the DPW makes that second year $2 if the person passes a positive evaluation. So I would recommend that no matter what we look at, that it should not just be a single dollar, that it should be a $2 increase.
Written into the policy.
Yes.
Well, I'm wondering why a temp clerk would get paid $3 an hour more than your full-time
Right,
clerk.
exactly.
I mean,
I mean, the person has nothing to look forward to if they have a $1 wage increase to look forward to.
You're right.
I mean, it's, we're rubbing nickels together here to make pennies. Doesn't make any sense.
When I looked at these wages, and maybe my math was wrong, but the 2.5%, none of that is a $1 raise. Am I wrong?
No, no.
Okay.
And I think, I'm pretty sure Social Security is more than 2.5 this year. I thought that it was going to be like 2.83. I could be wrong, but I think that no matter what we do, we want to make sure that the base of this document is correct and that it's fair. So that's the only reason why I raised that point.
And that is COLA.
Yeah.
That doesn't, that's saying nothing for wage increase.
Right.
And I would also suggest that if we're through the DPW, that maybe we could go through some of these others. If Commissioner Abernathy wants to maybe decide that it's in the best interest maybe to tackle this whole thing.
this,
All right, so for Public Works, we kind of went through and redid the job descriptions so that there's basically three.
Social Security was 2.5.
um, three positions, different job descriptions, different pay scales. How do we, Jim, I'll let you sum up where we've been.
So we went in to have two positions that mirror one another. Didn't make any sense because the way that we could do this is we could make it so that the person who is a utility worker can actually in the future become the operator, but the operator is the licensed individual. And then you have the director. And the director really should be someone who can write grants and do other things, put together their budget and really basically manage the infrastructure. So as opposed to being the person who's physically always on the ground doing it. So we've broken it up. Commissioner Abernathy and myself, we sat with Eric for a very long time, meetings with the mayor. And we believe that having the utility worker starting at a lower salary, and then we'll take the operator with the licenses, and we're going to start them at what is the high salary for the utility person, and then extend that up, and then have that actually go up, and that will cap off as to where the director's position will begin. And using the director's position, what we've done is that we're looking to make it a salary position instead of an hourly position. It makes more sense. I think that when someone is looking at a job description or a job opportunity, that if they're of a administrator position, that they're looking to basically have a salary listed. So we're going to take that and we're going to salary started at $75,000 per year. So just to know, it's $35 and some cents that makes up that, at a 40-hour week, that makes up that $75,000. The lowest DPW director in the state of Montana is making $72,740, or it's right around there. And the highest is making up in the 170,000s. So, to bring someone in at 75,000, I think is a very fair opportunity for someone. It brings them in just a bit above where the operator would be. So it gives us the ability to basically be able to grow this throughout a 4-year period. So we'll have salaries built out every 4 years and continue to keep that all updated.
And typically, management positions are salary positions. And as a salary position, the expectation of hours are greater than 40. It's usually between 50 and 55 hours that you're asking someone to work. So it's even less than $38 an hour.
So 75 is 35 an hour approximately.
Yeah.
And the utility worker, whatever the next is, you're gonna start
That's
where?
an operator.
Operator.
The
Yeah, the
operator-
utility worker is going to be an entry level.
Yep.
And then the operator is going to be more experienced.
So the utility person's going to start at 21 the first year, and
Okay.
by the 4th year, there'll be a 25.
Okay,
And then let me pull up the other position. The other position is right here. And I thought you had them in your packets. If you don't, I'm sorry. So we went in and we cleaned up all of the job descriptions so that everyone knows, so that everything is clear. So we've made it so this operator, who is a licensed individual, it's just as the director will be, that person will be starting at $24 per hour, and they'll be 26, 27, and 28. And I thought that it was more than that. So we have a licensed person that's going to cap out at 28, and we have a non-licensed person who's going to cap out at.
and the theory is the director leaves in the future and everybody just moves up a rung and we
Correct.
fill in the bottom.
Yeah,
Correct.
and let's assume that the person who is the operator does not want to move up, but
Mhm.
they're going to allow us to hire someone. Then what we would do is we would offer them a stipend to take them up to what the director's salary would be for a starting position, and let them earn that until a new director comes on board. So that there's some incentive on them to want to do the job and not say, hey, I want to buy this.
Understandable. I understand.
So, I mean, it's a very clean process, and, according to some that have looked at it, they think that it's going to put us a little bit higher than most people for people that are looking for positions, or us above other communities, because there's some advantages to this. And then working together, we've worked on an a la carte benefits menu.
Yep.
And the a la carte benefits menu is something that they can take advantage of. And we haven't completed that yet, but we'll have that done probably by next meeting. And you can see that, we can vote on it at that point. But it's things like clothing allowance, right? It's a food allowance, it's a laundry allowance, it's possibly that they need someone to watch their children. Possibly we get creative on some of these other positions, but not these three, that we may want to offer a lesser weekly hours, right? But rather than 40 hours, we make it 32 hours, and we make it 35 hours. So there are other opportunities there.
If there's a bright line to move up if you want to.
So those are the.
Well, the point of these extra benefits is to entice someone to, first of all, come here. And of course, the wage plan, where there is a path, is for retention purposes.
So these two wage plans for the operator and for the utility person, they're completed. They're basically in a state where they could be The DPW director is not yet, because we want to understand how we take the increments for the additional years and we increase those. So we want to have every single position in town so that there's a 4-year plan, so that everyone knows 4 years from now what they'll be making.
I love it. I think you've done an excellent job.
Yeah.
Put a lot of effort into it, both of you, so, for all of you. I think the mayor helped out with it too, did you say?
It's
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
majority
mean,
of their
You know,
This-
y'all
work
y'all
is
all done a
theirs.
really good
This
job.
has been a group effort, and, you know, when it comes to, obviously, the finance part of it, we rely heavily on Commissioner Abernathy to help us with that.
Yeah.
But the benefits as well, and I think the benefits, maybe if you could give us some feedback on those, what you think of them. If you need to cross them off, right? If you decide that there are some other ideas that aren't listed there, add them on, shoot them to me by email, and we'll get together and we'll collaborate and we'll get something ready for the next meeting.
The only thing I can think of, just looking at this, clothing and boot allowance, let's, if they're working for us, let's have our guys branded with Ennis looking.
That was Eric's.
We're already there.
Yes.
Okay.
We're already there, so
I'm not saying branded, but you know what I
we're
mean.
gonna
Yeah.
buy
Identify.
uniforms.
Yeah.
Identifiable.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to buy uniforms, so it's going to say the town of Ennis on it.
Okay,
So,
Nice.
yeah, we're already there.
all right.
So they're not like.
Could
who's
I
in my yard
interject
today?
that if you're going to do a wage plan, to include the benefits in detail as a whole benefits plan? That kind of gives us an idea of, you got to remember, we're still in Ennis. Little over 1,000 people. Taxes, not a happy subject with me. So if it was a complete benefits plan and how it's going to affect the budget, then we'll understand. If you're gonna keep this at à la carte, I mean, by the time it's over, we're stuck.
Well, à la carte meaning there is a list of benefits
Well,
that we're looking at that.
I
employee can
understand,
choose
but when
one
you
from.
finish this, then to the complete benefits plan
Mhm.
as what you're gonna
Put in the budget.
promote.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all
And
right,
keep in mind that some of the benefits are non-monetary,
right.
so there are monetary benefits.
No,
and
I
non-monetary.
understand.
And we're making sure that when we're through, that we'll have a benefits package that's available to everyone.
Right.
And we'll have a cost model that's built as to what the total cost of the budget will be.
Right.
Yes.
And that will go in with that'll go the total benefits plan in the details.
In
Exactly.
detail, yes.
Okay,
So
thank you.
each wage and personnel plan, that's exactly what it is. It's a wage and personnel for each specific position, right? And we'll
And
actually
my
have-
intention, Myron, is that when we present this, you will see the full picture of how much it costs to have an employee here. It's not just the wage. It's not just the wage and these extra benefits. There are other costs that the town incurs. Yes. But honestly, I think moving the director to a salary is going to save the town
And Myron,
Yeah.
just one other
quite a
thing.
bit of money.
There's no one in the world that agrees with you more. There's no dirtier word in the whole world. Death and taxes are two of the worst words that we ever want to hear. I'm on side with you on that one, so. I'm not into anyone increasing my taxes. Apologies, I'm sorry.
No, no problem. Need an introduction?
Yes, please.
You know Myron, but I'm Mark McDermott. I haven't been here for a while. Who's performing these functions now, and how much does it cost us?
Right now, we have the director of Public Works and no employees.
And no employees.
Actually, Commissioner Jim picked up the trash this past weekend, so we are filling in for the
So-
missing employees.
And maybe just one other thing, there are 2 other paid positions in there,
Yeah,
and they have been paid for a part of the year. I think
so those employees are missing?
they are,
They're gone.
they have moved on.
Yeah.
They're not here anymore.
They've moved on to other jobs, so The reason why it's so important to get these ready is so that we can use those for the postings that we'll put out to actually fill those positions.
I understand, I just wanted to know what we were spending now on those functions against what we're gonna spend
Going forward.
going forward.
Agreed. Thank you. So I would recommend, because I don't believe anyone has seen these two positions, that we push this off to next Thursday. But you should have them in your packets. You should be able to read through them
Is it
And-
next Thursday or?
next Thursday.
Next,
Yeah.
it was the second
Second.
Thursday in the month.
It's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
next Thursday's the second.
Tomorrow's the first.
Tomorrow's the first of the month.
Can I at least start with those lower numbers in Public Works to kind of start in filling in so that maybe I have an idea of.
Can I ask a question? If you don't mind, I'll ask it to the entire commission and then it will give you budget numbers.
Okay.
Is anyone opposed to an operator's position, starting hourly to be $24 per hour?
Not generally opposed to it, no.
And-
That's the experienced position.
Right.
Yeah.
And the utility person starting at $21 an hour, it's actually.
As long as those are semi-competitive for that position.
They are.
Yeah.
So I basically researched everything that we have in Montana.
Mhm.
And then I went in and broke it down by the population of the towns. I mean, the only other thing I could have done was counted the number of parks in the towns and counted the number of miles for the other towns. But I didn't get that deep into it. And then as far as the commissioner goes, is anyone opposed to starting that at $75,000 a year?
No, it sounds like that's what we're gonna have to pay.
So I would put that in the form of a motion, that there are 3 positions that we'll be voting on next Thursday. But for the sake of actually being able to work on the budget, that we would vote this evening to start the utility worker at 21, start the operator position at 24, and begin the commissioner, DPW commissioner at $75,000 per year, with a benefits package that is still to be determined and voted on by this board.
Is there a second?
I second.
Public comment on that before I let them vote. Okay. Commissioner Selly?
Yes, I.
Thank you. All right, let's get some numbers put in for sure then. Thank you for your time this evening. That helps me a ton. Any quick reports to make even next week go even quicker when we're all exhausted after our 4th? Commissioner Selly?
Was trying to think. No, not really. Can't think of anything. My mind went blank. I was actually thinking about the picking up trash and all, and I sent you an email. I don't know if you got that.
I'll talk with you
Fill in,
afterwards,
so
so
we'll
you
do that
can
after
cover
the
my
thing.
2 days of absence.
Yeah.
I'm going out again tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And you can join me. I might join you on the 4th, now that I'm starting to think about how the parking is gonna
That
go.
was
2
gonna
of
be
us
my
might
thing.
be,
Are we set for the 4th of July madness?
I'm doing the 3rd at night, and I'm doing the 4th in the morning.
Okay,
And I believe you have someone to fill the 4th at night.
that's
and
me.
Someone to fill the 4th in the morning.
That's me.
if you need help on the 4th in the evening, let me know. I'm in the store all day, so.
All right.
I figured at that
Yeah.
point, most everybody evacuates for that little area,
Yeah.
and I have my idea of a time, and I'm just gonna shoot for when they're actually like migrating out to go to
Well,
their.
text me, I'm happy to walk across the street,
Well,
help you.
and my
Okay.
2 10-year-old grandkids are here, and they're excited. They like to help. So any extra shifts you need me to put in there.
I'm starting at 5 a.m. on the 4th, just so you know.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm going
figured.
to start at probably 5 p.m. on the 3rd. So just so everyone knows,
Yeah.
I found a few barrels that maybe,
Weren't on our map.
yeah, that weren't on the map. So there's 2 in back of the library. There's one at your back door, and then there's the one that's actually attached to the post out there. And that had a lot of good doggy treat poops in there, but I got them all out of there. And then the other thing that I did was I went up to the Veterans Park and I dumped all the ones up there as well, just so everyone knows. They hadn't been dumped for a while. There were baby diapers and a whole bunch of other joyful things in there. So everything started new, I think, with what we did this morning and yesterday. So we should be good. I'll get them again tomorrow morning, and then I'll do this night of the 3rd and the 4th. And if anybody can't make it, just give me a call.
Well, I knew you were going to be gone on the 10th, and I wrote back and he said I'd take all the evening positions, but I think y'all had filled
saw that,
something that. But yeah, so anything or after the 10th to give you a break if everybody needs, if we got it covered before then, or.
Thank you.
Wait, you got anything for your commission
No,
report? Jim?
I think maybe just a couple of things, if you don't mind, if you can bear with me for a minute. We're getting some things ready for the MOU, as you know, and that's making some good headway. We've had some very good meetings. The county commissioners gave us an extension to August 15th, just so everyone knows. So I attended a meeting with them last week and they're good with that. I have a meeting the 3rd week in July with the DPW director for this region. And I think it's Gino Libby or something like that. And I'll be meeting with him and his team. So if anybody else wants to go on that, it may be helpful because I won't be here next year.
Yeah.
So we'll need to make sure that someone who will still be on the commission actually has an opportunity to meet with them.
Who are you meeting up with?
I'm meeting with the DPW director for Montana Department of Transportation. And he's going to introduce me to his team. I think that's District 2, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to spend some time getting together and talking about what Ennis can do to work with them better and what they can do to work with us better. So it'll be a two-way conversation as to how to really have a good relationship. So if we need something from Department of Transportation, then we know who to call and whose attention we need immediately. So
Nice. And what day are you doing that?
I'll send you the date if you're interested.
Yeah, sure.
And the only other thing is that I met with Commissioner Todd a few weeks ago, and then he was very helpful with getting the vote passed for us last Tuesday. And I think we want to make sure that we have a liaison for Commissioner Todd as well. I know most people know him, but it would be good to maybe once a month have a cup of coffee together.
He says when nobody ever visits him at the library, so.
Exactly. He has hours at the library and he really would like and enjoy to see people from the commission. So if anyone is interested.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll look and see when he's at the library and I'll make a point of
All right. And I think the same thing with the sheriff's department.
Yeah, even if we get our MOU exactly as we planned, moving forward, we should have a cup of coffee with the sheriff every month or every other month.
Well, and this liaison that you had talked about, several months back of setting it up kind of with everybody.
So that's really what I'm doing. I'm beginning to make some of those connections with liaisons so that everyone can have an opportunity to maybe engage with these individuals. But I think the sheriff's department is very critical for us to have a relationship with. I think the commissioners is a very good relationship to have to, drop in on a meeting with them once in a while. And I think that having the Department of Transportation is another big one. Department of Transportation is working on grants all the time. Something they come across their table that says, hey, this would be good for Ennis. And if they know who to call, I think that it's in our benefit to maintain all those relationships. But relationships need to be much broader than that. We need to make sure that we're really communicating with everyone that's in the best interest of having a solid relationship, like the medical center, right?
Yeah, the medical center,
Yeah.
the housing board,
Yeah.
the.
The fire
Mhm.
department. The fire department is really. I know that at some point they're going to need to be an actual paid fire department. And, it's coming down the pike sometime in the future, and it would be not good to find out about it last minute. So that's really the reason to have liaisons, to make sure that we're not getting in a situation that we're hearing about things at last minute. Important. Yeah. And because I hate to pay taxes, Myron, that I want to make sure that we don't need to jump through hoops to get things done, that we have relationships that make it so that we're much more proactive and we have much greater access to money. So, and then the final thing is that the growth policy is coming along really well. And we're 70% complete. Just so that you know, we spent $19,000, we have $17,000 remaining. And we should come in right on budget. I talked to Great West this morning, and with Neil O'Neill, who's actually doing he's chairing it for the planning board. He's doing an amazing job, as the planning board is. And I believe that the mayor is going to have them in at the next meeting, which is very exciting. The mayor is going to have them in for receiving a proclamation for all their hard work and their volunteering for the community. And I think that will go a long way to let people know that if they volunteer, they're not going to get beat up by people, that they're going to be working with other professionals to make changes and improvements for the town that is in everybody's best interest. So I know it was sort of winded, but I thought it was important to get all that out. Thank you.
Mitch?
I have nothing to report.
What about you? Where you been?
Been on vacation in Norway. I don't regret leaving for a little while whatsoever. But yeah, happy to be back and want to thank both of you for all of your efforts that you have been putting in for public works stuff. I did attend the local government review last Wednesday, the library. That was a very good discussion of potential avenues to do, and I felt like a compromise on all of the different viewpoints in there was to do like a hybrid form of government where we have a professional kind of comes in and advises the mayor on how process works and kind of brings them just gives them advice, I guess, an advisory.
An everyday administrator that advises, and then when the mayor is not available, this person is basically carrying out the task of the mayor per the mayor's direction, which is a great idea. Many communities do it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I ultimately, I mean, it took me years to figure out how things work around here, but I'm stoked to be here, and I know a lot more now than I knew when I first started. That's a fact. So.
Commissioner Hardy came to the meeting directly from the airport, from flying overnight from Norway. So
Still had his flipping shoes on.
And he was still pretty bright-eyed, so I gotta tell you, he did pretty well.
And then
Make it to the
attended
meeting.
garbage training the next morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so
Yes, I did.
good job.
And maybe just one thing, if I could add in, because a lot of people have been putting in a lot of hours, and we've toured the hospital, we've done a whole bunch of things. Commissioner Way has been over to the sheriff's department a number of times now, meetings and.
The sheriff comes to my place now.
I know. He went to his place while he was on vacation. I'll let you tell the story. Because it's
Yeah,
so
and
funny.
he harassing my employees. In a good way, it was totally fine, but
He got a call from his employee
Yeah.
saying, hey.
the sheriff was just here looking for you.
Like, that's difficult. Is that a call you want?
But, just everyone's been every place and very engaged, whether it be technology or MOUs, wage and personnel.
Housing.
Liaisons. It's just, thank you all. It makes, Confucius had a saying, many hands make light work, and that's what we're doing here. So.
How about even with the chamber possibly having Stephanie come in and maybe do a quick intro so everybody.
Let them survive this
Yeah.
week.
Well, we
Yeah,
mentioned that
let's
to
get
them
through-
already, so hopefully, I was kind of hoping that when they did settle down after the 4th, maybe, because we reached out, I think you reached out to them, didn't you?
And I think once their new building's in place, it'll be a
Yeah.
little bit,
And then
that
maybe-
will assist them greatly
Maybe that will
with,
help in the future for like
feeling
the Main
at
Street
home.
project and things like that they could participate in.
Yeah.
Okay.
See Thursday.
Karen, thank you for hosting us the other night. It was great. Thank you very much.
Remind me, Mike.
all right, on Wednesday, the Department of Commerce, thank you, held their first workshop regarding the grant cycle. So they covered basically the requirements for both the CDBG and the MSEP grants and kind of the pitfalls that they've seen happen along the way. That presentation is now on their website as well. Brenna followed up and looked at it afterwards. I went through that workshop. We had several of our representatives from Great West there as well. Craig Erickson, trying to remember who all was there. They had, I think, almost 9 staff there for that because some of the dates and the requirements change from session to session. So our first draw for MSEP can't happen until May of 2025. Ground has to break by September 1st. I'm just
May of
looking-
2025.
Well, that's past.
or 26, sorry,
Okay.
May 2026. September 1st, you have to have actual ground broken by then. I'll get with Commissioner White because you'll be here and you'll be here, and give you the highlights of these are the things as commissioners. They said, make sure your commissioners know, benchmark things that have to happen. If this changes, or this changes, it has to have council approval. So I'll go through those with you so there's a good transition there. I contacted Joel after the meeting, Pilsner, who's helped with our initial water PER and been here for all of our public hearings. He's going to get with his team and go through the timeline and then give us a date for both the planning board and the commission to have a complete update as to now our timeline and our project. And then we'll have to start getting some of our advertising part together because as part of an MSEP grant, you got to put out your sign of your project and who's working on it and all that. So we're going to piece all that in so that we know where we're at. And then that should give us our target rates for our water rate increase. That's mandatory by the end. We have to meet that target rate by the end of completion of project, which at this point looks like 2027, early spring of 2027 will be completion of the well project. Which if we update our PER, then we'll be back in cycle for the next round of legislation and onto the storage tank. So hopefully piecing together and continuing to do maintenance and repairs and replacements on this aging system. That was the morning, went to LGR, learned my trash route. Almost had to fill out an incident report I almost ran into an antelope the next day at the dump. It was very uneventful, my 2 mornings. And then I think that's been about it. Review of the plans for the 4th and the concerts and events that have been going around since then.
And we got one of the 2 grants.
We did not get the CDBG. We did get the
Yeah,
MSEP,
we
which
got-
we were not originally allotted. So if you look at the
I know,
original
snuck in on
document,
that one.
he snuck in
I
on
told
that
you
one.
we were going
Well,
to.
because I was like, I was listening to the little workshop and I'm pulling up the thing and I'm like, we really weren't on the list. And they're like, do you have any questions? I'm like, yes. Did we really get this? I mean, I got a letter, but.
When I testified, we were number 21
Mhm.
and they were only going to give 20.
Right.
I'm like, all we got to do is ambush one.
So good ambushing. So there's one
So
more.
which one did you ambush?
I didn't do anything. I figured one would fall out, something would happen.
It fell into place. So thank heavens we can
Yeah.
start making progress there. definitely watching the pumps run right now. And
How many hours are they running?
it actually, there was a break today when I went into the public works room because there's the monitor in there, and I just like have my little mini panic attacks. I'm like, oh, that pump's been off for like a whole like couple hours now. Like, good job, thank you, community, for watering at the appropriate time, because it was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I actually expected both pumps to be running, and there was only one running at that time. So again, many hands, light work. It just reduces our stress, and it's not like pumps are cheap. So, and then I have to say this morning, big shout out to MDT. Todd was down cleaning, pressure washing, spiffying up the town. They did a lot of painting and everything that makes the town look sharp for our incoming visitors and guests. So, shout out to them because it looked like a lot of work this morning, and they were out way before I was. They already had some stuff done before I even
I
showed
saw
up
them
here.
at like 5:30 this morning.
Yeah, I was
Or
like,
else-
somebody was up before I was. I think that's all the excitement is really getting me too caught up on MSEP and then having Joel down for a more detailed update on it. I know the Madisonian wanted a full report on that I did not get them. So, public information officer, I'll say it for the 100th time. Like, that's probably one of our biggest deficits. Somebody just manage that. And they talked about it during that workshop about how important it is to meet all of those benchmarks and have a public information contact and one point of contact through this whole project. So if there's any complaints, they're addressed immediately, and if updating the community, are we on budget? Are we on our time schedule? Where are we at with each part of this project is important. So they have a toolkit to try to help with some items there. But
You don't want to have to do it on the cuff, because when I was town manager twice, I had to meet with the news people. Once was a young lady was raped and murdered in our town, and they rushed up. And I had to speak to all the television news and the other folks. And another time we had a prison break on Halloween evening, and the person was a not so good person. So you need to have a good strategy for how to address the press immediately when it happens. We've gotten a couple of press releases out to the Madisonian for the book policy, but it's best if you're steering it from your side of the table. So as opposed to putting anything in that the press can basically take and run with, and it's not what you intended to say. So
Is this going to be an appointed position? Is that what you're wanting? Or would recommend, or? I was wondering, I mean, I know you're not gonna be here, but are you still, I mean,
yeah, I mean,
would you
a
be
chief,
interested in something
a
like
chief
that?
information officer is really what it is. A person who basically can speak to any issues that are happening and know how to make sure that you put in exactly what it is that happened, and that you're not allowing someone to have some language or verbiage
Yeah.
that they can actually take and twist. And it's so easy to do it. So, it's a science.
Well, you're calm and well spoken, and I was just thinking that may actually work as a liaison position to keep you helping, the town too, but you may not want that. So.
I think I'm gonna leave that up to the powers to be.
Okay.
The rest of the
something to put in
commission
your mind. It might be
and the mayor.
it might be in the longer term plan, but or if you're doing an administrative assistance, one of their duties is to do those releases.
In the absence of having a chief information officer, typically what people do is have the chief of police handle it.
And that's what we're doing currently.
Yeah,
But to me,
I mean, if something happens in the future, and the commission decides it's something that they want as a volunteer basis, then. Okay.
I'll let you know, all right?
all right, that's all the highlights.
Thank you.
So,
Move to adjourn.
oh, unscheduled. Anything for next week?
I think that one discussion that we still need to have that we've never completed is emergency operations and what we do, where we do it, how we do it, and basically maybe do a drill once a year with a particular event. It'd be a tractor trailer truck with hydrogen on it, tipped over on the highway, is leaching into areas of homes and possible explosion or whatever it is. But I know that with every agency that I've ever worked with, we do that, and we could do that in conjunction maybe with Montana Department of Transportation, and it's good exercise for everyone to get out and see that we're actually prepared to be able to handle an emergency.
I know at the fire department we have a really fun sand kit. So we do tabletop exercises there where you set up a mock scenario on a tabletop and it gives you the visual effect. So maybe we can just do a joint training. Use the sandbox and have DES down to kind of guide us through because that's my first call every time I've run into anything thus far. Joe Brummel, this is what we got. What you got for me? So that's that hot list of phone items that I'm very comfortable using, and it's a toolkit piece that every mayor needs is to have the cell phone number of disaster emergency services director. And
Yeah, I mean, with the scenario that I just said, if a hydrogen tanker tipped over, you need to have the DPW director make sure that the water supply is safe, that all of the different things can happen. The water could make its way over to the septic leaching fields and possibly blow up. I mean, knowing what people would need to do in the event of emergency. You don't want to be doing things in the last minute and find out that you're not very good at it because you're planning.
Yeah, well,
there's really good plans in place, but I think you're right, practice just in how we play into that and that command system is important. So I can get you the resources so you can look at those at any point, but the LEPC puts together emergency action plans for all the communities, and there's everything from floods to fires to earthquakes to and how you do evacuation of certain parts of your population. They're all in place. County has worked amazingly hard over the years to keep those updated, and they are constantly in an update process. So they're all electronically there. If any of you want to review, Joe loves showing them.
You know, it's an opportunity for people to see that that they can actually show other people that they're prepared, right? You have a lot of very knowledgeable people that are engaged in all of these areas of the community. So I think maybe adding that to the next meeting might be a thoughtful exercise to maybe begin to plan out doing exercise in the fall.
Okay, sounds like a plan. All right, any other items? All right.
You already did it. Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See you next Thursday.
Hey, Jim, are you writing these? Can we add a line on this one?
on which one?
The public works director? That's the only one I got, I think.
Yeah,
No,
you
there's
don't
one in
have
the
the other
drive.
three. I just got the.
Something I just thought of. Can we, it doesn't say the public works director needs to report to the commission at monthly meetings.
Right. Yep.
Maybe we should just spell that out so it's not,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
It says, advises the commission on rates and all that, but maybe, it should say, present at monthly meetings or gives a report at monthly meetings to the commissions. Something like that.
I think everyone.
Not everyone. Says not everyone can. So they're adding people like you, of course.
I know, when I looked at that date, I was like, oh, that's all.
They're not allowed.
Talk about COVID.
It's a way to keep from cheating.
Invitation to collusion.
Yeah. I know typically though professional services, IT, accounting, teachers, without salary. But yeah, staffing. Just wondering, Aaron, and maybe that you can. Please, chief.
If we could add that, that's the only thing that jumped out at me.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think when we do it, we should at some point look at it in more detail, like what do you want to know? You're like, I want a report.
Well, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what are
Yeah,
the
I don't need to know we
questions
mowed
that you're
grass for
thinking
3
about?
hours on Wednesday. Yeah.
I saw you tonight, it's part of my memory that I didn't email you back, but they were sent a letter.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a standard letter, so probably they'll be gone
Yeah, I
before,
don't know what offers if we don't
you know,
use.
They got people staying in both of them.
really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I
it's hard to
haven't
go over benefit list.
I got a little word, kind of keeping an eye on them too, but.
I mean, I'm at that other house in the evenings because they're remodeling it, you know?
You have to pick, oh, yeah. Planning board, but you can leave it like this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the ones, I had seen them before you sent.
Well, and you notice the satellite dish is moved on the other ones. If you go there in the evenings, you can see them watching TV in there.
On the little one or the?
No, on the big one.
I've stopped and talked to him about that before, and he said that he doesn't have TV satellite in his house, he payments off of it, that's what he told me.
Oh, really?
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Stealing satellite.
Well, no, it's his, but.
I think that's a load of crap, but,
I know, but,
and that's an official statement.
I know. I stopped and talked to him about it last year, because the satellite was up.
Yeah.
And I stopped and asked him.
Yeah.
Super pleasant.
Oh, I stand on the deck of the other house and I look through the window of the one and the TV's on and people are moving around. Yeah.
I knew there was something.
I had it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I didn't specify which RV, so, I let them know it wasn't. So,
Yeah.
they know.
Oh, they know.
Right, it'll be cross country. So you definitely use that.
Maybe this set up for the planning board?
That would be up to you, but yes,
I got another question for you.
That's just a piece of, like, anybody, if I send a text at whatever time and you don't respond, I assume that you fell in the dumpster.
So the
Because you got arrested like a week.
Have a nice Fourth, everyone, if I don't see you.
Yes, that's what I usually the morning one. Can you do Monday the 14th?
I sure can.
Okay. We'll set that one for that one for later. Is the only one you need to do? Unless you want to double work with Jim on one of the,
Okay.
Pretty good.
the only ones that I'm actually
I
worried
was
about
there,
are
worked inside all week.
night of the Thursday.
Bye, thank you very much.
Jim, I think the night of the 3rd is one of your size. You have the absolute best view. Spot. So it's gonna be hard to get to it. So Steph's gonna join you on that one. I'll join you in the morning one. We can
Almost
at least, we're probably gonna end up being the street.
If we can just go across the street, one does,
I'm gonna try that.
north side,
That's
and
what I
one
want.
does south side,
Watering.
leave the truck.
And I had to find a blade
walk
myself, so I
the
don't know if he did, but,
We should be
and
fine.
then almost rolled back and back of his head. I mean, he's
So.
Well, yeah, and if y'all need me for anything, or if you know something comes up, somebody needs to move a day or whatever, let me know.
I just want
But
to.
yeah, I'm gonna get with you at the 5 a.m. one.
Okay.
I put all my travel loss, but all this stuff is done.
Did you just sign up for one you can't do? Stephanie said she would handle stuff.
I mean, if you don't want to do it.
There's not one.
I mean, if you don't have time right now, put it that way. If you've got something else you need to do.
I'd start doing all of my races the next
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday for the
Because
next
you're supposed to be on trial
3 weeks or
Okay.
on the weekends. I
Well, let me
can
just
join.
cover that.
Just so you know, the TLS.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I just want to go look at those 2 days. It's not gonna last.
Oh, really?
Stuff's gonna get me covered and then we'll
David
be there.
American guy.
So, and John said,
I tried to
nobody
cover
else
it.
does it. Yeah, really all.
Yeah.
I did hear, I actually heard somebody, and I don't remember where I was listening earlier, I heard somebody say something positive. I actually heard somebody say, I don't remember if it was a Facebook post or they said it out loud.
Yeah,
but they
my
actually
guy
said,
Riley.
It seems like
took
we
his
got
one.
a commission that
Oh,
works
yes.
really well to keep them down,
Yeah.
and, you know, and I
He
thought,
sat
that's
for
good.
quite a
you know.
while, and
Yeah,
then he finally said something like, you know, I know everything
We
about
need
him.
to tag team on
And they
all of those,
out of
third and fourth. I'm good with.
That's what we got that one.
Just, I think the more of us.
Like, you can't be on that, Terry.
You know.
I was just gonna even know where they're
I
at.
can do the third and fourth.
Do you wanna do the third morning with me?
That's pretty good, too.
Just so everybody knows.
It's only 6.
Because you take a look at it, just walk along the sidewalk and actually.
We don't do many
Sure.
jury trials.
No,
We
no.
get up by, Berkshire or something like that, you know, and just walk over to the.
Victoria's great. She
It's
helps
not a
out.
big deal.
It does.
Actually, she was.
I was like, well, mine.
But yeah. On my heard.
Except for there was this one white man, it's like, I'm gonna park right in front of the Kentucky garbage can around town. He was like, one garbage can ahead of me. all the way.
Well, and we opened another.
It's the third and the fourth, because you didn't worry about that.
Yeah, Third.
Yeah, already.
Arrest or anything.
Fourth, the night of the fourth.
If we double
You know
up.
what the
I'll
night of
order
the fourth.
another investigation.
You wanna do that one?
So I'll do the night of the
Yeah, some of
third.
those are criminal charges, so
Oh, yeah. You have to report it.
I'll add these on.
Okay.
I'll do that,
Immediately.
okay? So we know who's doubling up when we're meeting.
And if anybody can't make it, just send an email.
We pulled his license once.
And then we're good.
And the girls that were wanting to come to the meeting for the thing, you said they moved, were they actually supposed to come on the 10th, or did I have to set the skateboard?
They skateboard.
Were they wanting to come on the 10th?
I think they're gonna switch to the tent.
Oh, okay. Because when they were writing me, they said they wanted to get to a meeting before,
Oh.
you know, when they were.
Yeah, and then I talked to Erin, and she's like, yes, we're all in for the 30th. And she's like,
Maybe.
sorry to change.
Oh, okay.
Because Erin, she's Kristen, wrote me, and they're like, hey, can you help, you know, maybe get us in on the meeting or whatever, and I said, I'll do what I
And
can.
he was sitting
You know,
there.
I think in a general rule, that unless. I think you need a, like,
I think. Good plan.
I'm gonna be here at the 9 AM debriefing for the parade. I have a, that's just my, I don't know if they've got enough volunteers. Well, they were down to about 7, and they still needed this morning, I think. 7 or 8, and I thought, well, I could go to that too if I needed to. So 9 AM, if anybody feels like 9 AM, that's when we go over that whole plan.
Here, 9 AM before the parade kicks off.
Yeah. That's what time
And
we
then if
should-
they need people to actually volunteer, we'll be.
I try and make it so that they have to uphold their end of the bargain, because it's been the same for years, but if they're in a pinch,
Yeah.
I will throw on the vest and go,
Yeah, he does.
you hunt my dog.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
And I've got 3 or 4 grown children that I'm volunteering sometimes too.
As long as they're very,
Go home 30 and.
oh, we see.
All right.
They're as grown as I am now.
I'll send a
Yeah,
reminder.
send me
like
an
that
email on
debriefing is the next
You
time.
can have, Jack, I don't think it's one of
No, it's really nice. You said I wanted to be like guys.
I couldn't agree more. Name to a face instead of just a random person.
They see it on the old.
Say it, thank you.
And they automatically.
Yeah, no, they need your telephone number. That's in the world. Yeah. I mean, I'm a friendly person. I was the liaison from the prison into the college. I mean, the prison was.
They're about to say.
Yeah, they're about to say, but 9/11 happened and we had to go over and give a speech to all the college students. And, put away their concerns. And that's where emergency management came really important. 9/11, right? So what are we going to do? We've got a nuclear power plant just 2 miles away. There's something about it. We had to mobilize, and then I had to go to the prison, and I had to go make sure they were okay. Experience a shortage of labor in the state. Over to college to make sure that we gave a speech. The president of the college gave a speech first, and then I did second. But emergency.
Garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was the one thing I didn't say. We have to take a picture of the park or if it's one of the really spot where
I saw the new video.
so if you see some people down there, like,
Yeah, I'll look.
ask them if they, like, we have to submit this picture for our grant. Can you smile with 30 people?
Do we do an annual report?
What?
Do we do an annual report? Every town does an annual report, just about. The annual report is what the budget was for the year, things that happened throughout the year, and they have a picture on the cover of the town, and then when you open up the cover, there's a picture of the mayor and commissioners, and it states who they were, and then it states the planning board members and all of that.
You want to pull this off?
Okay.
Accomplishments, achievements, you get the detail. The job poker that I did, I used the original ones of 2014, so if someone wants to know what the 2014 ones look like, they just know when someone first started writing these things. So I'm just basically using.
Oh, and I didn't say that. Did you get a hold of Hannah?
Yes. Yeah, I met with her.
The document?
I did not.
Oh, whoa.
Waterfall, as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, because it's the front end.
Waterfalls take a lot of water, so if it's not raining all the time, they're not effective. Race, wearing 2 rain jackets sacrifice. Waking up and hearing rain on pattering on your head. Like, get up in this and back. I'm gonna ride in this. And then I'm gonna ride it. But we only did that a few days where it was like super tough, but it's kind of spotty rain. So. But other than that, it's like riding over the going to the sun. Really gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So they don't start fishing streams and rivers until the 15th of June, which kind of like fishing down here. I'm a catch and keep guy myself, and I'm always looking for fish all over the place, and it's blown away that there's nobody fishing anywhere. But apparently they might be off on that, but it's both the 15th is like the go day for they go off. and I don't know all the different species, you know, you have all the fjords, you have all this fresh water running down in, and you can't even tell if you're on seawater or, you know, the tides flowing. Yeah, it's very interesting just to try and keep track of where you're actually at. Gain some elevation, you probably get fresh water, and then drop back down, seawater. What's that called? Yeah, it's called practice. It's like 7 species that are in the United States that actually didn't try any of the rotten fish, not rotten fish season right now. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if it's not fishing season, then you don't want to get fish in the restaurant. Well, here's one of the crazy things: the number of fish farms, I'll call them, for salmon. They're just lining the coast. Kind of how they do it now, and each one of them is only allowed to stay for a certain period of time, like permit, and they kind of have to let the area recover a little bit. The owner of not Conagra, some guy from America bought like all of the fish operations over there, fish, food, supplying companies. Because Norway's not a good place to grow. They get a ton of rain. They just grow the things. And that's about as far as the southern part grows a little bit more cabbage. Yeah, there's some cabbage. Yeah, pretty much just robust products. I can't remember where that guy gave us. The guy gave us a full-on deal about the fish industry. The majority of the salmon is not wild caught, it's all the farm. It's kind of bummed me out. I like wild meat, you know, not stuff that's been fed some pellets. Yeah. Woodstock and island fish, stuff like that. Fish, what they actually do. You know, the chicken's a full big pig, and that's actually what all of the fish and the shrimp are eating. I don't find anything. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I thought it was all shrimp personally. I was just yeah. You know, I'm in Thailand. They literally they have that section of the water that they can have the shrimp in, and then what they do is they put chicken coops on top of that, and use the chickens to ship the feed into the water, and the shrimp eat it. And that's about what they basically eat. Well, someone was thinking. But when I go to a restaurant, I make sure that the shrimp didn't come from Vietnam. There's no way of guaranteeing it, right? But I'm pretty specific about saying, are these from the Gulf of Mexico? Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure they are. Sure they are. Yeah. It's nice to see everything. No, for sure. Yeah, farming is definitely kind of ag is the thing of the past. Like, they still do it around the Oslo area, but head up north a little bit. Nobody's talked to a couple of farmers. There's no money made in the farming industry. Like, you think, I mean, that's one of the richest countries in the world. I think those guys facilitate having farmers being a socialist country because they don't work with their hands anymore. Yeah. Well, you'd be blown away by the number of immigrants